Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. Lots of exciting stuff to cover in today's video, but I wanted to start out by saying thank you to everybody. We passed a cool milestone this week on the channel. We have over 7,000 subscribers. Means a lot to me. I really enjoy making these videos, and I'm really glad and thankful for, all the great interactions that I have with everybody on the channel. It's cool with the comments and dialogues we have in the YouTube comments, social media messages, and even meeting and talking with a number of you at conventions and shows. It means a lot to me, and really happy that we've hit this milestone and looking forward to the year ahead and seeing where the channel will grow from here. But just wanted to say that up front, really appreciative of everybody here, and excited about what the future holds. So thank you again. And today we've got a lot of ground to cover around the Lego room. A number of cool orders are starting to come in. We've got several projects that are on the go here, and we're heading towards, display season. We've got a show coming up in the next couple months here that I'm looking forward to displaying some stuff at. We've got some interesting conventions ahead. So, lots of great stuff on the horizon. So let's dive in and get started around the Lego room here. Now, one of the first things I wanted to cover, we've been talking about the Horizon Express for a while now. I really enjoy the, default standard orange version of the Horizon Express and love how this works and runs around our layout here. For those of you that may not know, we have a motor in each end of the Horizon Express. So that helps to drive it around, given that it is quite a lengthy and as a result, has a bit of heft to it. So those two motors help drive it really well. We get some good speed and movement with this train around the layout. And, with the enjoyment that I've gotten out of it and some of the cool variations that I've seen of this train out at shows, I've been meaning to build a new one based off of this, just with a different color scheme. And we are very, very close to making that sort of project a reality. So what I've decided to go with is making a red version of the Horizon Express. We'll be doing basically a straight color swap, orange for red. And you can see here, we've been getting together all of the different red pieces that we will need for the color swaps. And few more to come this week. Not too much more left. We've almost got everything we need here. And I actually picked up a used copy of the Horizon Express. So we'll be using a lot of the parts in here, doing the color swaps, orange to red. And we've got a second copy of the Horizon Express coming this week as well. So when it's all said and done, we should basically have a two locomotive, two motor version of the Horizon Express, just like our one over there, except this one will be red. So we'll be able to have a red and orange version of the Horizon Express, both running around the layout at the same time. Really excited about this. This is one that I've been wanting to do for a while. Seen so many great versions of the Horizon Express. I think it will be really cool to be able to have two copies, two basically full-size, nice length copies of this train moving around our layout, and was happy with how relatively easy. The color swap was to do. I worked just off of Bricklink, went through looking up all the orange parts in the set and ordering red variations on that. And everything went pretty smoothly and easily. We'll make sure, we'll see once we get going if there's any parts that I missed in that process, but pretty confident that I've got everything. And, I think if there are a piece or two that we're missing, it should be relatively easy to source out of our collection here. The big difficulty with any sort of color swap like this is going to be the more unique pieces. And, we've got a couple of those here that I was really happy to be able to find in the color and, get a decent number of the parts. So you can see a couple of these, just things that are not in a lot of sets. And that was kind of the limiting factor, but everything came together pretty reasonably. Wasn't too bad and not too expensive to get all of those parts. So really happy with that. I have a feeling it won't be the last time we create a color swapped Horizon Express. I've got a couple other, sort of possibilities that I think would look cool, but we'll investigate those in the future. For the short term, we'll get this up and running. And like I said, I think that pretty much all the parts should be here by later this upcoming week, so it shouldn't be too long before we're able to get this hopefully fully up and running. We'll have to do there's going to be a few power function parts that we might need to source and get to sort of fully wrap this off, but looking forward to getting this up and running very soon. And like I said, I've really been enjoying having that dual locomotive Horizon Express, running around on the table here. I think the two motors work really well in it, and it looks great as it zips around the layout. So really looking forward to getting this red version up and running and putting it through its paces. So keep an eye out for that upcoming on the channel. And if you have any other color ideas for Horizon Expresses, let me know. Looking forward to, like I said, thinking about more, probably at least one more copy of this train in the future with a different color, but a really cool looking train. And I think this should be an amazing addition to our collection. Now, as you've probably noticed, there's a lot of stuff out around the layout, a lot of things that I've been bringing into the room that need to get organized, built, etc. And lots to move through there, but really excited about all the potential with everything we've managed to pick up over the last little bit. One of the first things you'll notice, we've got a couple of new plastic storage containers here, and those are going to be used for getting our 9-volt track organized and into a place where we can easily store them and pull them out when we need them. We've got them, as you can see, currently just kind of out and about, and it makes it hard for moving that track upstairs, wherever I need to use it as we're assembling layouts. So looking forward to getting it in. We'll get that into the storage containers over the next day or two here. We'll talk about it a bit more in an upcoming video, but that track will then get stored underneath this shelving area here, and we'll be able to easily access it then for some of the upcoming 9-volt both layout work and train work that we have planned. Some pretty cool things ahead this year, I think, for our 9-volt trains as we start to build out more aggressively that side of our collection. But keep an eye out. We'll, like I said, there'll be an upcoming video. We'll go through a bit more about our sort of short-term storage for the 9-volt track, some of the additional trains / track that we are picking up and working on for that. And, hopefully very soon we'll also be starting to get together our Mills modules for the 9-volt track. So lots of cool stuff ahead there. And, as we work through this, it's also just going to help us with organizing and being able to, especially in the case of this chunk of our shelving here, as we get more and more stuff organized and put away in a useful way, it's going to open up this storage. It's going to open up this shelving area. So it's not so much storage, but we can get actual built models on display there. So looking forward to making some progress there in the coming days. Now, as we move past the storage bins, one of the things you'll see here and this is the biggest chunk of stuff that's on the table at the moment, we have received several orders of new 2026 sets. Been really impressed with all of the new sets that came out on January 1st, and we have already started to build and post videos about a few of these builds, and we've got lots more to build in the coming weeks here, but really excited to be able to pick these sets up and looking forward to seeing how we can integrate them not only into our display areas around the room, but there's several of these that will be worked into various parts of the layout down here in the Lego room. So looking forward to that. We'll kind of give a bit of a brief, do a brief kind of pass at some of the ones that I picked up here. We've got the 2 brickhead sets that came out, continuing to be a big fan of the Lego brickheads, and been making some good progress on our brickheads display wall in the stairway down into the Lego room here. So looking forward to adding those into that area there, and making a big push hopefully over the next few weeks to get more of our brickheads built and on display in that shelving area. Great seasonal Easter set here. Great looking car. I picked up a few of the Lego City vehicles. Looking forward to getting these built and integrated into the city. We've been doing a bunch of things with the Lego City and roads over the last few years, really, and they've kind of all sort of fallen a little bit lower on the priority list versus other things that we've been working on, but really hoping to make another push here to advance along the road portion of our Lego City so we can get more vehicles on display there. And I think that will really sort of add to the overall look of the city. We've also got a number of lighting improvements that we want to make there, which will help with some of the road work as well. So looking forward to making some progress there. And in addition to the car set here, we've also got the Lego City van. Big fan of Lego vehicles when it comes to actual delivery vehicles. We've got the bigger delivery truck over there in the city, and I think the van should be a nice, fun addition to that as well. Continuing to make our way around the edge here. Love the Creator 3-in-1 Hummingbird. Thought the colors here, as well as just the overall model, look amazing. Really excited about that and seeing how that comes together. We also made sure to pick up the new Chinese New Year sets. This one here is the Fortune Master. Lots of great Chinese New Year sets. So looking forward to seeing how those come together and where we're able to display them. We've got our cool Ravager jumpsuit Groot. I think the Groot models are always really cool looking, and looking forward to getting this one built. Always so much personality in Groot in the movies, and I think they do a great job of capturing that in the Lego sets as well. So I think that should be a fun one to put together and a fun addition to our display areas here in the Lego room. We've also got here the Lego City tractor. I thought this build looked amazing and got some plans with building out some more farm area and farm themed industry builds around the layout. So I think this should be a cool addition to those areas. And it looks like some really cool parts used throughout the build as well. So looking forward to that. We've got a great recycling truck for the city. We've got the gift with purchase set here, the vintage parade car. Should be a fun one as well, and a nice gift with purchase there with the modular building. We've got another food truck, which I'm looking forward to getting built and put together with the other food trucks in our collection. I think that this is going to be a great one to put beside the burger food truck. I think the French fries coming out the top, really cool idea and should be a lot of fun. Other sets that we picked up, we've got the micro scale Minecraft set. Big fan of these micro scale builds, and this is a Lego theme that my son continues to enjoy as well. So should be fun to get this together and see how, just the techniques that go into it, but also I think it'll be a fun one to try to find a spot for. It'll be a neat display piece to, have around the Lego room for not only us to appreciate, but it's something that others coming into the Lego room will probably notice and appreciate as well. So looking forward to getting this assembled and, like I said, interested to see all the techniques involved there as well. Continue to be a big fan of the botanicals line of sets. We've got the flowering cactus and the peace lily. Looking forward to seeing how these come together. Also really looking forward to seeing the parts available in these sets as well. I can already tell on the flowering cactus, I think those shields that are making up some of the petals there look amazing. Always great. I like the finished look of these sets, but it's also really cool to see if there's potential in here for picking up a few extra copies as a sort of parts pack for specific interesting colors for parts or, bulk of a specific interesting piece. So looking forward to getting these together and on display, and looking forward, like I said, to seeing if there's any interesting parts in there that we should pick up extra copies of for use in our other builds here in the Lego room. Other sets of note, we've got the amazing Stranger Things Creel house. I think this is going to be a great display one. Looking forward, we'll find a nice shelf area for this build to be displayed on. Also interested to see how those trees come together around the outside of the house there. I think they are pretty cool looking. Always a big fan of Lego trees. So we will be taking sort of particular note as those come together, see if there's any interesting techniques or sort of usage of parts there that we can learn from and maybe adapt or leverage in other parts of our layout. We've already covered the Lightning McQueen Speed Champion set, but also excited to get the Back to the Future Time Machine DeLorean car put together here. I think this is a fun Speed Champion set, and we will get that finished soon and up on our Speed Champion / vehicle wall in the stairway down into the Lego room. Picked up another couple of Speed Champion sets as well. We've got let's go to the bottom one here first. We've got the APX GP team race car and the Ferrari SF90XX Stradale. Both look amazing. Always a big fan of the Speed Champion sets, and I think both of these are going to look great in, in the display area we have in the stairway coming down into the Lego room. That is definitely another spot that I want to spend some time in the coming weeks, sort of building out and tidying up. But, I love working through these sorts of car builds. I think they look cool. It's interesting to see how they come together, and they make great display pieces after the fact as well. So, really happy about what they released in terms of Speed Champion sets, and really happy we were able to pick these up. Next up here, we've got the Lego City Taxi Cab. Great looking taxi cab, not a huge set, but it should be another great vehicle addition to our Lego City. So looking forward to that one. Then we've got the Autumn Cottage Garden. This is a really cool looking set. Love all the details in here. Great tree designs, great little cottage. Just a fun scene overall. And you can see the cool base that they have this built into here. I'm actually looking at potentially putting this onto a Mills module. I think it could be a fun display scene. And I think we can put some interesting additional things around this as well. So looking forward to putting this together, but I think right off the bat, we're going to, sort of adapt it and make some changes so that we can build this into our layout here in the Lego room, and maybe have a few additional copies of it. I could see doing some interesting little tiny village displays with the different cottages. And like I said, just love the trees and landscaping around it as well. Love the little creek or sort of waterway that's moving through there, and the great gnome addition in the middle there by the cottage. I think that should be a lot of fun too. So this is definitely one where we are looking at sort of taking this, but adapting it right out of the gate so that we can have it not only as something that can integrate into the layout here in the Lego room, but it could be a nice little scenic addition to a layout that we our contributions to a layout that we display in out at shows as well. So definitely we'll talk more and see more around this in upcoming videos, but that's kind of my thought process there. We've got the Year of the Horse, awesome gift with purchase there. And then we've got the modular for this year, the Shopping Street. Really cool looking set. Always a big fan of the modulars. And as we put a big push into our city here in the coming weeks to kick off the year, I think it will be fun to see how this integrates into the layout. But love the fact that we've got, some different looking buildings and some great, areas here around the base of the buildings for minifigures and different scenes. And we should be able to work some interesting lighting into this as well, with the lamp posts, as well as potentially some interior lighting. So I think a lot of cool potential with this, and looking forward to getting it integrated, well, built first and then integrated into the city part of our layout. Next up, we've got the Japanese cherry blossom landscape. Always a big fan of these Lego art pieces, especially the very 3D ones, which this definitely falls into the category of. I think it's going to be an amazing addition to the wall area heading down into the Lego room with some of the other Lego art pieces that we have built. Great colors here. Love the 3D elements, especially the water coming off the bottom of the frame here. I think this is going to look amazing, and really looking forward to getting that built and up on the wall. You'll see here on the other side, we also picked up the Lego Architecture Paris build. kind of a quasi architecture, quasi art piece here, but this is another one that I'm looking forward to building and getting up on the wall here in the walkway down into the Lego room. I think this is a really cool idea for the Lego architecture line, and looking forward to seeing what other cities, countries, etc., that they adapt to this format. But I think that this is going to be an amazing addition to our wall display area and should be a lot of fun to put together. While we're over here, we'll also highlight the Lego Ninjago 4 Weapons Blacksmith. I think this is another amazing looking building, and I'm intending to mount this onto mills as well. It won't need the same sort of style of lighting that other builds around our layout get, like especially the city ones. But I think this is an amazing looking structure. And, I think we could even we've got our brick stuff fire pit light set. We could nicely add that to a Mills module with this, some nice ambient lighting around it. But I think this will be a fun build to have mounted on Mills, just like the cottage, and something that we can have in different parts of the layout, both here in the Lego room, but also out at shows. Also, I think some interesting potential here to start to build up some Mills modules that are Ninjago themed, and see whether in the Lego room here, in some other rooms around the house, we're able to start putting together a ninja themed layout. I think it could be a lot of fun. So, definitely looking forward to getting this mounted onto Mills. Like I said, I think we'll do some different things when it comes to lighting, but I still want to give this the potential to have power running through the base of it. And, we'll just come up with some different locations for lighting and some different types of lighting that'll go with it. But overall, excited about the potential of this set, and, should be a lot of fun to build, and will definitely give us an interesting sort of first Mills module in this style. So, some interesting potential that we should start to be able to build on with that. Just a couple more sets to highlight here. Really happy again with the Chinese New Year sets. I think this Galloping Horses canvas should be a fun one to put together. Love the fact that we're going to be able to get some motion, it looks like, here in the build, and just a cool different style of build for this Chinese New Year line. And then we've also got the Fortune firecracker. So looking forward to putting that together and seeing where we can have that on display. But some really cool work on these new Chinese New Year sets, and looking forward to getting these built and on display, and some really cool minifigures in here as well. So really awesome additions to the collection. And last couple of sets to highlight here. We've got another great, we'll call it almost sort of a landscape slash, display model. Great lovebirds set here. Love the design of the birds and the tree itself. Looking forward to seeing if there's anything we can learn from this tree design as well. Definitely seems like it would have some potential as a cool looking tree in and around our layout. Nice landscape element, and this should be an amazing display piece as well. So lots of fun there. And then we've got the Lego Stranger Things gift with purchase, another fun little scene there, which should be a great display piece and addition to the collection here. Now, in addition to these various sets that we've picked up for building and displaying around the Lego room, I was also fortunate enough to be able to pick up 4 copies of Lego 40743 Christmas Table Decoration. This was a set that after Christmas, Lego had on sale on their website. So I picked up 4 copies of that to basically augment our parts collection here in the Lego room. And in particular, was really keen on some of these excellent botanical style, plant style pieces here. We've got some great bushes, great leaf work here, different styles of leaf and sort of foliage parts. Really happy with what we were able to get here. These are going to be great additions to our part collection and should allow us to build out some interesting additions to the layout here. And we've got a number of other excellent pieces throughout the sorted elements from these sets here. So looking forward to seeing what we can do. Don't often pick up, multiple copies of sets like this, but when you get the opportunity to, a good deal on them and, a set that has a lot of interesting parts, I was quite happy to be able to jump at it and, like I said, pick up 4 of these. Should be a lot of fun seeing what we can do with the various parts here. A lot of great parts in some really nice quantity amounts. So, great flowers and other pieces as well. So super excited with that. It was great to be able to go through, part those out, and we will get these integrated into our Acro Mills storage wall and some of the other display containers that we have over on that side of the room. But looking forward to starting to draw on these pieces and seeing what we can create with them. Now, heading back to the topic of storage containers, was really happy to pick up a couple of larger storage containers here. We use this particular type that I have picked up from Walmart before for a number of different things around the Lego room. But at least one of these is going to be used for the storage of our single T-junction mills module. This is a module that we used to have in use around the layout here before we started to get all of our double track T-junctions from Trix Bricks in place. Still love this module. I think it's a great one to have in our sort of toolkit, depending on what we want to bring and display at different conventions and shows. So we're going to sort of reassemble this, make sure it looks good, and then we're going to get it into. It's probably going to take both of the storage containers, but if we can get it into one, we will. But we'll get that into the storage container. That'll go in probably under this shelf area here as well with the 9-volt track. And we'll make sure that's all labeled out so it's easy to find in the future. But this will be kind of the kickoff of our sort of backlog or collection of different track modules that we can draw from when we're going out to train shows, if we want to use some of those rather than ones that are in our layout. So hoping to add more modules like this that we can use going forward as we're going out to shows. Won't fully replace taking modules from the other layouts here in the Lego room, but I think it will be really useful to start to have this catalog or library of modules that we can pull from, and honestly that we can use again potentially in layouts here in the Lego room if we want as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. That's going to help us tame some of the the track and mills modules over on this side of the room. And one other delivery I wanted to highlight, I received an order that I placed from Brick Train Depot for their bearing wheel sets. We've got 100 of these, I believe, in here. Really love these wheel sets, super critical parts to enable us to finish off and, work on a number of train car builds. These are going to get used up really quickly, but, you know, awesome critical parts for train car builds, in my opinion, and super happy to be able to top up our collection of them so that we can, like I said, continue to build out the various train cars that we have planned. So these are much needed, and you'll start to see these popping up in builds hopefully over the next couple of weeks here. But super happy with those. It's a nice big chunk of wheel sets, and like I said, they're gonna go super quick. It won't be the last set of wheels that we order this year, but this will be a good kickstart to the large number of train cars that I have planned to build this year. Now, a couple of quick things that I want to highlight that we will touch on in other videos in the future in more detail. But I recently mentioned I was working on sort of tidying up, revamping how our magazines and books, etc., were displayed, stored. I've moved a bunch of stuff out of my office space to open up some shelving in there for display purposes, and really happy with how this is coming along out here. This is all the lowest shelf on our display area. So you can see kind of completely blocked by the tables. Not the best spot for builds to be displayed, but I think a great spot for our magazines and books. Still more to add in here, but really happy with how this is coming together. We've got our model train magazines here, our brick journals, our blocks magazine, lots of great reference material. And I'm a big fan of magazines and books. I like hard copy reference material, and I really like being able to reference model railroad magazines and just real world train magazines. A great way to get ideas for additional train cars, to build different liveries that I want to build for cars or locomotives. Gives lots of great ideas for scenery and different things like that. So always on the lookout for great magazines and books, and happy with how this area is coming together. Like I said, we'll cover this particular area in more detail in an upcoming video, but really happy with how it's looking and coming together. A bunch of work to get this sort of to where it is now, but I think it's going to sort of pay dividends going forward as it gets easier to find specific reference material that I need. And, just will, like I said, also open up some great display areas in our office space. Also worth highlighting our Lego office space. Continuing to do a bunch of work in here to open up new display areas and to just organize it and make it easier to use, more functional, and trying to slowly but surely get the various parts and overflow of pieces back stored away in our Acro Mills container wall, or other parts of the Lego room, so it's easier to find and access stuff. This is still very much a work in progress, and we will highlight this more in some upcoming videos, but just wanted to showcase it. There's going to be a bunch of changes that you'll see in here and around here based on improvements that we want to make to the functionality of this room. So worth noting its current state. So lots on the go here in the Lego room. Really excited about the possibilities that we are sort of opening up and exploring this year. A lot of cool stuff ahead, I think. And in the short term, a lot of chaos to organize. The big goal for this next week here is to make a push to get the layouts back into working order. We're going to be getting a number of things built, put away into, the various storage places around the Lego room here. And in general, making it so that we can get back to running trains, moving Mills modules around, fixing up Mills modules, adding new Mills modules. Lots of stuff on the go, but really excited with where things are headed here. We've honestly probably got another couple of weeks here of, a number of things coming into the Lego room for, enabling and kicking off a number of the things that we have planned over the next few weeks and months here as we head towards our first show that we're going to display at this year, and as we head towards the first couple of shows that we will attend and film at as well. A big year ahead. Like I said, we're going to be, we'll be doing a number of videos here in the space, but we will also keep up with our videos as we're out at shows as well. So lots of cool stuff to look forward to on the channel. And, like I said at the top, really thankful for all the support. We are really happy to hit 7,000 subscribers here. And I think that we've got a lot of amazing stuff ahead this year on the channel, and looking forward to continuing to dialogue with people both here in the YouTube comments, on social media, in various messages there, and out at the shows that we attend as well. So, thank you again very much. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And definitely keep an eye out over the next week here as we make a big push through getting everything organized and tidied up around the space. Lots of videos ahead this week, as well as, the months ahead here, but I think some really cool stuff in the short term as we make some progress on things that we've been wanting to do around the space for a while. And, it'll be a lot of fun as well as we go through all of that to build a number of these amazing sets that Lego has started to release this year. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.